Hey everyone, I'm Spider-Man 1991 here, and I'm here to talk about the comic books that came out for the first week of June on June 4th, 2014. Let's get started with something from Dark Horse, Angel and Faith, Season 10, Number 3. Pretty much after consulting with ex-Slayer Nadira, Angel finds the mysterious glassblower who has been referenced for the last two issues in an abandoned glass factory, obviously. And apparently this glassblower, who was affected by the magic bomb, has this ability to somehow conjure up bottles of what I think is magic. And he's basically working for the leader of a pixie gang named Corky, who Angel has been hunting since issue 1. And Angel eventually, and through some more helpful hints from Nadira, who apparently is some sort of who can apparently who has this new ability which Angel describes as making coincidences happen. After meeting with his new ally, Inspector Brandt, Angel notices some kids with the same bottles that he saw the glassblower make, and he follows those kids, which leads him to Corky's main base, where Angel also runs into Corky's new hired gun, Pearl, who you may remember from the last Angel and Faith series. Meanwhile, what's Faith been up to? Well, she's still having trouble adjusting to her new Slayer bodyguard job after she almost killed a client who was apparently taking in underage girls. And apparently, however, the client is a demon that apparently draws strength from the adoration of underage girls. Like, no sexual stuff or anything, but that's not really something that Faith enjoys, and she almost killed the client, thus giving her a little bit of a beratement and a pretty much not very good eyes in the roles of her colleagues. So Faith, as a bodyguard, not really working out too well. I think probably at the end of this story arc, she's going to realize, hey, I was better off with Angel, and she's going to head back to London, and they're going to team up again after that. So yeah, Angel and Faith number 3 seems a little early. I feel like this is a little early to bring Pearl into the main Angel and Faith, into the new Angel and Faith series, because at the end of the last Angel and Faith series, her twin Nash was killed, and pretty much she was also hit by the magic bomb. So now I think she has a new set of powers as well. And everyone thought she was gone, but they did one of those panels where where you see like a calm area, but then suddenly like a gruesome hand leaps up and you recognize it, like, oh no, they're not really gone. Well, yeah, so I think they kind of built up a little more to Pearl's return, or maybe they're saving her for something even bigger and we're just seeing her now. So who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, overall, Angel and Faith Season 10, it's pretty interesting. Right now, Angel is back in his position of helping the helpless. In this case, he's now working in a smaller area of London which was hit by the magic bomb called Magic Town. And so he's trying to go, and so basically, if you liked, so it's kind of like, so it has the same feel of the first early seasons of Angel, the TV series. So if you like that, I would definitely recommend you pick up Angel and Faith Season 10. Okay, next up we have from DC Comics, Batman Eternal number 9. Batman pretty much heads to Hong Kong to figure out why Falcone left there and came back to Gotham, and he teams up with the Batman of Japan to help his investigation. On his way to confronting the Hong Kong gang leader and ex-rival to Falcone, Shen Feng, Batman runs into an OPS agent who's also here for Feng, and right when she talks to Batman, Feng shows up and stabs the agent right through her, and Batman pretty much fights Feng and beats him up, and finds out apparently that the gang war he had with Falcone he didn't actually win it. It turns out Falcone actually bought him out so that he could return to Gotham. But we still don't know why exactly Falcone did it. All we know is that apparently Falcone decided to return to Gotham when an opportunity presented itself. Those were Feng's words. And so Batman takes the fatally stabbed OPS agent back to Gotham with him, and he tells Alfred everything that happened and says that he has someone with him, and apparently the agent's name is Julia Pennyworth, which when Alfred hears that name, he's shocked. So So that's obviously something that's going to be happening. And also, Catwoman has been even though Batman's gone, Falcone's been pretty busy because he's had a lot of trouble with Catwoman. As you know, they have longtime Batman readers know that Catwoman has a history with Falcone, and ultimately, though, it looks her story in this issue looks like it ends when she's suddenly captured by Falcone's men. So yeah, Batman Eternal #9, still very interesting. This one, obviously, it's going to involve a lot of Batman. I really like how this series is taking advantage of all the supporting characters of the Batman universe. In this case, we're using Batman of Japan, who I don't think we've seen ever since the end of Batman Incorporated, so that's nice. And also, obviously, if you saw the preview issue to this series in Batman #28, you know that at some points Catwoman becomes the new crime lord of Gotham. So who knows how? So obviously they're still building up to that with this whole Falcone mess. Also, we still don't know what exactly led to Falcone's return. All we know is that he left Hong Kong when apparently some opportunity presented itself. So even though Batman goes to get some answers, he still doesn't have the full story. So I have no idea how that's going to resolve itself. Hopefully, who knows? Hopefully we'll get to that soon. But yeah, and also the last page with Julia Pennyworth. We're getting a new character. She's related to Alfred. I remember pre-New 52 there was a character named Julia Pennyworth. I think she was maybe Alfred's daughter. Maybe that's the same scenario here. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll probably find out more in the next issue. But yeah, overall, Batman Eternal is great. It's an awesome series. However, it's a weekly series, so it's about $3 a week. Well, it's only $3, so if you can afford to do that $3 almost every week for the next, I believe this issue is about 65 issues long. This series is that long, so I'd say still, if you can afford it, get Batman Eternal because it's awesome. All right, next up. Earth 2, #24. The three wonders of Earth 2, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Flash, are reunited when Green Lantern and Hawkgirl are able to locate Flash and save him from the Apocalypse character Beguiler. I believe that's her name. Also, still continuing the story arc with the second Kryptonian Val. Batman pretty much yells at Val and berates him for not using his powers when the cave was attacked by parademons, and also he blames him for Connor Hawke's death, and and then later Jimmy tells Batman not to be so hard, not to be such a dick, and not to be so hard on Val because he's still adjusting to having his powers and everything. And then afterwards Jimmy talks to Val, and Val shows Jimmy that apparently under his hoodie he's been wearing a t-shirt with the Superman shield on this entire time. Obviously that was something given to him by Terry Sloan. Okay, so Earth 2. If you've been complaining, I think a lot of people with Earth 2 have been, well, recently we haven't really seen much of the three characters that sort of kicked off the Earth 2 series, Alan Scott, Green Lantern, Jay Garrick, Flash, and Hawkgirl. So, it's good that we have an issue where they're pretty much back in action. I think that's great. Now we just have to get them to work with Batman's team and figure out a way to stop the brainwashed Superman. Also, they're still developing Val's story, and also apparently, I think after this story arc is done, I think what's going to happen is Val's going to be the new Superman of Earth 2. So I'm not entirely there's still obviously Earth 2. There's still a lot of progression. Obviously, this is more of a long-term story arc than just something that can be done immediately. I hope it doesn't drag on for too long. If you're not really a big fan of really long story arcs that are being developed, then I would say hold off on Earth 2, wait for the trade. But otherwise, if you don't mind waiting, if you don't mind the slow pacing, I would say Earth 2 is definitely a buy. Next up, Green Arrow, #32. Probably one of my favorite DC comics out there. Pretty much, this is a really big action-packed issue. Oliver Queen has just returned to Seattle, He reunites with his friends Naomi and Fief when suddenly he's attacked by the Longbow Hunters, who have been hired by Richard Dragon to kill him. And of course, the Longbow Hunters consist of Red Dart, Brick, and Killer Moth. And pretty much they attack Oliver. They have the upper hand on him, but suddenly Oliver is saved by the sudden reappearance of his half-sister Emiko, or as she's declaring herself, the new Green Arrow. Wow. Heard of brother-sister rivalries, but that's ridiculous, kid. and also, while Oliver's dealing with the Longbow Hunters, Diggle is captured and being tortured by Richard Dragon, who apparently is the son. Who we find out more about him in this issue. Apparently, he is the son of a crime lord that Diggle and Arrow took down years ago. Ricardo Diaz. Dragon's real name is Ricardo Diaz Jr. And after the original Diaz was killed by Green Arrow, who it turns out was actually Diggle posing as Green Arrow, Ricardo Jr. went to travel the world and trained with the League of Assassins to become stronger. And eventually he killed his sensei and took his name and returned to Seattle to take control to pretty much restore his father's empire. And pretty much Diggle tells Dragon that basically Green Arrow never killed your dad. I did. I was posing as him. So that was a great moment in this issue. Okay. So yeah, overall, like I said, this is a really big action-packed issue, but there's also some really cool moments, like when Emiko shows up to save Oliver. Also, she's declaring herself the new Green Arrow. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna fly. I think at the end, if we do have Emiko stay in Seattle, she's probably gonna be either Red Arrow, because I want to point out the arrows that she uses in this issue are red, so she might be the new Red Arrow, or Speedy, maybe. And also, I like Diggle. Also, really awesome how we're having Diggle in the New 52. I think that's great. Really nice. I really like that connection that they made to the Arrow TV series, because this series is starting to read more like the Arrow TV series. And I think that's great. I mean, obviously, Jeff Lemire knows what he's doing on this title. He knows that people watch Arrow the TV series, so he wants to make some references. That's pretty sweet. Only real complaint I have is just that Oliver, well, yeah, he just got back after a whole traumatic experience with the Outsiders and his dad and everything, but I really hope he gets in better fighting shape soon, because he's going to need it to save Diggle and also take out Richard Dragon. So yeah, overall, Green Arrow, still one of my favorite DC titles right now. Definitely a buy. Alright, next up, time to start with Marvel with All New X Factor number 9. Basically, Gambit basically what happens is the little girl from the last 2 issues, Georgia Decay, they take her to Serval Industries HQ, and they find out that apparently she was adopted, and they decide to take her to meet her birth mother. And when they do, it's a very touching reunion. And she wants to live with her birth mother now. Then suddenly they get attacked by this character named Memento Mori, who then takes Georgia away with him. And also before the whole reunion happens the night before, Gambit apparently meets and sleeps with Serval CEO Harrison Snow's wife. So that's something I think we'll deal with in a future issue. Overall, X Factor, it has some very... X Factor is a really sort of a casual superhero book. That's the best I can describe it, because it's not all 100% superheroics. There are some moments of, comedy, such as when Gambit realizes he slept with his boss's wife. That was just hilarious, seeing his reaction to it and stuff. So, if you like superhero if you like superhero comics that have a lot of humor and such, I would say give X Factor a try. I mean, either try it from one issue or borrow it from a friend. But because it's a very interesting series, if you don't really like, if you're not really a really big fan of superhero comics, you like them here and there. I mean, this is great for the casual superhero reader. Okay, moving right along. Captain America number 21. Captain America is able to destroy the Gungnir helicarrier. Unfortunately, though, during the process, the Iron Nail has apparently drained and neutralized the super soldier serum in Cap's body. So at the end of the issue, Steve Rogers is basically an old man. And that leads into the next story arc that's going to start next issue, Super Soldier No More. Okay, honestly, the whole Iron Nail story arc, it could just be summarized. The only thing it affected was, this is pretty much the only part you would need to read. This is honestly the only part you need to read, because obviously this story arc was just basically a setup for Rick Remender's next story arc, which looks a little interesting because apparently Remender's teasing us that Zola and Red Skull are going to team up for this next story arc, and also Cap doesn't have the Super Soldier Serum anymore, so and this isn't the first time that Cap has lost the Super Soldier Serum, but in this case, I think it's the first time that he's lost it and also started to show his real age, obviously. So who knows what's going to... So I will say this, really good ending to this mediocre story. It does make me look excited for the next one, seeing Cap without the serum, what Cap's going to be like without the serum, but overall, I would just say wait till the next story arc to start. I would say if you haven't been reading Captain America yet, just get this issue and read forward from there. That's about it. So, and also, pretty much the Iron Nail story arc was just not really as much exciting as the Dimension Z story arc was, or just basically we were kind of cool. Just basically it was kind of cool in it until we got to the Super Soldier No More story arc, which is going to begin next issue. So overall, I would say Captain America. So it's kind of hard to say what I'm giving this issue. I would just say, honestly, just borrow it from a friend who has it. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay, next up, a new series that I'm really enjoying, Cyclops number 2. Basically, Cyclops teenage Cyclops from the all-new X-Men is still on a cosmic road trip with his dad. They're having a good time. They're bonding as father and son. However, Corsair, Scott's dad, is still very sick, and they stop at a planet where Corsair can get more of his medication, and also he hasn't told Scott yet. And so basically, Corsair goes to see a friend, while Cyclops goes on a date with an alien teenage girl, and basically after Corsair gets his medication, they head back to the ship, where suddenly they're attacked by bounty hunters who want the bounty on Corsair's head, but he's still pretty weak because he hasn't taken any medication yet, and Scott pretty much tries fighting the bounty hunters as best he can with the sword he and his dad found, but he's not doing so well. But fortunately, he still has his optic beams, which he uses to take them all out. And so Cyclops and Corsair get back to the ship, and unfortunately, though, Corsair discovers that during the fight, all the vials of medication were smashed and destroyed, and also as they take off, one of the bounty hunters has apparently put a tracker on their ship. So yeah, this was a very nice issue. It's basically, Cyclops, it's kind of fun, and also it doesn't feel like this is leading up to anything, but it's pretty much a series that's out there just to give you a good, entertaining read, and I think it's nice. Also, it's great seeing these moments where teenage Cyclops is kind of bonding with his dad, because it's giving some light to his character, because, when he got to the present day, at first he pretty much discovered that he's now the leader. His future self is now a leader of a mutant revolution, and also he was working with Magneto, the X-Men's sworn enemy, and pretty much he has been through a lot of stuff in the all new X-Men series. So now I think, in the last story, all new X-Men story arc where they teamed up with the Guardians of the Galaxy to save Jean Grey, Cyclops ran to his dad again, and he made him an offer to go travel in space. So obviously Cyclops took it, and and this series does a good job relaying that message that this is kind of being a bright side to Cyclops' life so far, despite all the darkness, and I think that's great. He's really doing a good job bonding with his dad. Overall, I would say if you like stories that are just fun and not really part of anything big or anything, because this doesn't really tie into anything. So far, it's just basically Cyclops and Corsair. Those are the only characters that matter in this story. So overall, really, if you like those types of stories, then I would definitely recommend you get Cyclops. Also, if you don't like the current day Cyclops in Uncanny X-Men, then that's another reason you should get Cyclops. Alright, final comic. Moon Knight #4. Moon Knight investigates the hospitalization of several subjects in a dream study program, and the only way he can fight this enemy is by dreaming. Which when Moon Knight starts to enter the dreamscape or dream world, whatever you call it, some very trippy stuff happens. That's basically how I can describe it. Pretty much you have to read this issue in order to really understand what happens, but overall it's really great. I love this Moon Knight series because every issue just feels like a sort of one and done series. It's not really we're leading into something big here. It's just, right now it's basically just giving us a taste of what Moon Knight's about and letting us enjoy this character, which I think is great. I think Warren Ellis is doing a good job writing this title. Unfortunately, he's going to be leaving after issue 6, so we only have 2 more issues left with him. Hopefully he can still do a good job on it, obviously, because so far, 4 issues in, I love this series. It's really great. The new creative team that's going to take over really does have some big shoes to fill. But overall, Moon Knight is a really fantastic series, something that I would consider one of my best Marvel titles that I'm reading right now. If you're looking for something new and something different from Marvel, I would definitely recommend picking up Moon Knight. It's really, really awesome. Okay, that's it for my comic reviews this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for checking. If you want, you can check out my other videos. If you like them, like them. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I appreciate every single subscribe I get. I'm Spider-Man 1991 saying thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.